will be the team EmergenSea with the title Proposal on Developing Sustainable Ship Recycling Industry. Please welcome Team EmergenSea.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here to present proposals on developing sustainable ship recycling industry. We are glad to tell everyone this topic. Our content follow this order. First, we will introduce the background and current issue. Second, we will check the problem, and then we will suggest two proposals. First, let me show you the background issue on the ship recycling industry. How do you think of this picture? This picture shows the reality of ship recycling industry in South Asia. As you can see, marine pollution gets serious and the working environment is poor. I will tell you this industry's problem specifically. Behind the growing ship industries, there are some problems dealing with the ship that should be dismantled, which has been used for 25 years. The process of dismantling is mainly carried out into developing countries where labor cost is cheaper than that of developed countries. A scrap iron made by this process became good economic resources and a major industry in developing countries such as India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. However, the health threat caused by hazardous materials is emerging. Also, the pollution of marine environment results from the leakage of pollutants during the working process. In 2009, recognizing the seriousness of the problem, IMO enacted Hong Kong Convention HKC to promote safe and environmentally sound recycling of ships. However, it has not been effective until 2017. The reason is that the agreement has failed to properly reflect the considerations of relevant international organizations. Thus, they lost momentum for implementation. Let's take a look in more detail. This is the first problem, lack of attention to worker safety. There was a joint working group composed of the International Maritime Organization IMO, Basel Convention BC, and the International Labour Organization ILO. IMO had considered resolving issues such as different views among three agencies on maritime terms, the duplicated law, ambiguous guidance, and simplification of guidelines. IMO carried the use and treatment of environmentally friendly facilities that BC stated concern. However, it did not deal with the working environment highlighted by the ILO. This table is a part of Hong Kong Convention's rule. Apparently, it seems that each international organization has all the contents they want, but in reality, it's not. Here is an example. On Appendix 1, Regulation 20 handles safe and environmentally sound management of hazardous materials and clearly lists up hazardous substances and controls of them. As you can see, this regulation is very specific. However, if you look at the Regulation 22 on worker safety and training, there is no specific designation of protective equipment. This regulation is very simple and ambiguous. Comparing these two regulations, we can see a huge difference. From now on, next presenter talk about the other problem and the first proposal.
I'd like to talk about second problem concern and first proposal. We concluded most problems of ship recycling industry in South Asia basically comes from lack of financial resources. There are are three main representative examples to describe poor working conditions in South Asia. As this data shows, most workers in the recycling industry in South Asia only earns $14 per week with 84 hours of hard working. And even though ILO described this industry as the world's most dangerous industry, only 61% of workers get adequate protective equipment, with the other 39% remaining unequipped. And lastly, and most importantly, most works are done by beaching method, which is just putting the vessels right on the beach and dismantle the ship. As you can expect, all the hazardous pollutants from this work directly flows into the water. Hence, we were able to conclude that most fundamental problem is attributed to lack of financial resources. So, two ideas came into us. First, we suggest adding some clauses on HKC to reinforce worker safety regulation. And second, we propose to apply for multi-partner trust fund to give practical and economic support to help needed countries. By doing this though, we want to stimulate safe working environments on this dangerous work site. First, supplementing Regulation 22 of HKC. If you look into Regulation 22, you can see protective equipment instruction on Article 2. Here, we suggest adding two more clauses. 9. All the protective equipment shall not be at workers' expense, which intends to make employer responsible for providing protective equipment. And 10. All equipment shall be prepared with regard to type of work and risk, which makes preparation of equipment more specific. By doing these two clauses, we want to add more details in order to lessen workers' burden and provide safer working conditions. Next, we recommend advising Article 3 as follows. First, Article 1 goes, training program shall make all workers aware of related laws, regulation, emergency evacuation. In this, we wanted to explain what content should be included on the training. Second, Article 2 goes, training shall be conducted by the specialist nominated by IMO. We thought that who does the training is also important. So it will be better for IMO to nominate and monitor the person who does the training. Third, we suggest adding two specific clauses under Article 6. Living proof of training is significant for keeping a record as well as for planning next training session. And HKC also encourages periodical training, so we aim to specify the meaning of periodical. In addition, more detailed direction is included, such as the time, the place, and the proof of training should be authorized by IMO. Also, we propose to adjoin one more article under 22 regarding training. Knowing what is danger is significant to prevent industrial accident. And the example we brought in two goes, 1. Workers shall be aware of enough knowledge, skill, tentative danger, and safety rules about working equipment. And 2. Employer shall confirm if worker has sufficient knowledge or not. Finally, we suggest attaching one extra appendix called Details of Worker Protective Equipment. When creating, we considered protective part, specific description, and remarks such as considered situation. Just to have a quick view, you can see under protection there is a respiratory protective, and it should be appropriate for type of risk, and remark, it should be needed when there is a risk of oxygen deficiency. Also, we create same description for other parts. If you look into protection part, there is a protection from radioactive contamination and what equipment should be used and when and where workers should wear it. So this is first proposal that we made, and I'd like to invite next presenter to talk about second proposal and conclusion. I will present our second proposal and conclusion.
We aim to establish an economic basis for sustainable ship recycling industry through the multi-partner trust funds. We created the overall details of the fund. We named it Joint Program Ship Recycling Industry. First of all, this project aims to address the joint UN assistance strategies for 4 countries that more than 70% of ships are being dismantled from the world. This project fits well within the framework of the sustainable ship industry and aims at enhancing working environment and monitoring hazardous materials. We select donors and agencies as IMO and IMO, and they may transfer the funds to the governments. We plan to use joint program among various financing instruments. Since a more detailed strategy and vision are required, it can lead to clear results and budget. Now, I'd like to explain this fund specifically. We targeted 4 countries as governmental partners and eligible recipients, including Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, and Turkey. Even though almost ship recycling industry is being done in these 4 countries, the working condition is visibly poor. Then, we want to use grant among the 4 types of funds by simplifying the process. It is significant to make a fund based on proper purpose, so we consider 3 objectives. The main objective is to ensure universal access to sustainable ship recycling industry. An additional objective is to promote the implementation of HKC and to enable workers to release sound working environment. For achieving this, we need to join assistance strategies. First of all, with collected funds, we can help implementing government to purchase personal protective equipment and guarantee minimum wages for workers. Also, a structured system, including additional technology and management window, is required to achieve compliance with the Hong Kong Convention. These strategies might contribute to the achievement of the ultimate outcomes with our program. Through the MPTF, we hope that developing countries can build a financial basis for the sustainable ship recycling industry. Let me wrap up our presentation. We can expect 3 short-term effects over the revising HKC. First of all, working environment can be improved. Second, we can facilitate the implementation of HKC. Third, we can create new jobs and income due to the demand for manpower and ship management for monitoring hazardous materials and implementing HKC. We also expect the long-term effect through applying for MPTF. Through this, we can inform the world of the importance of the ship recycling industry and promote the possibility of constant conservation of marine environment. There is a saying that it is not only for what we do that we are held responsible, but also for what we do not do. We hope that IMO can play a role in solving the problem, which is not easy to be seen in our eyes. These are for us, and thank you for your kind attention. And if you have any question, we are willing to answer it.
Thank you, Team EmergenSea, for your explanation. floor is yours.
Thank you, Professor Chen. Well, thank you, EmergenSea, on the presentation regarding ship recycling. The issue of ship recycling, which is also a hot issue at the IMO arena. I'd like to open the discussion. Well, I see the strangers raised first.
Thank you for your presentation, our strangers. According to pending conventions regulation, HCFC are permitted until 2020 January 1st, right? According to appendix of conventions and regulation, HCFC are permitted until 2020 January 1st. HCFC is one of the critical substances which make global warming go weaker. Is there any special reasons to be permitted? Is there any alternate materials of HCFC?
I'm sorry, but I actually don't get what you mean.
Appendix 1,
On our HKC?
conventions regulation, yeah.
Yes.
There is mention about HCFC are only permitted
What does that mean?
until 1st January 2020.
Well, HCFC, you have just mentioned. What does that? What is it?
This stuff is hydrochloric for is one of Triton ozone gas.
Ozone.
Yeah, ozone gas.
gas.
Yeah. HCFC ozone gas.
Yes.
There is mention about HCFC is permitted by January 1st, 2020. But this stuff is one of the critical substances which make global warming go weaker. This still let break ozone area down until now. Is there any special reasons why HCFCS?
Actually, I think I need to apologize first because we didn't consider the hazardous material that are used and that they're banned on the convention. So I'm really sorry for not answering your question.
Now I understand what you're talking about. The HFC means a hydrofluorocarbon, right? Yeah. But you don't necessarily have to answer if you don't know about it. Just say you don't know, just say no. Oh, I never thought about it. That's a modern answer. Indeed. It's kind of presentation based. Okay, I'd like to come to once again Professor Schroeder.
I have a couple of questions in respect to the IMO and your measures that you are suggesting there. Are you aware of the apparently zero budget increase policy of the IMO, meaning that the IMO doesn't want to take on any additional activities unless somebody is volunteering to finance it? So I would suggest you may consider, if you bring this forward, also to indicate where the finances for that will come. Otherwise, the big players in the IMO who don't want any further budget increases may not necessarily support you.
Can you give us 2 seconds?
3 seconds.
Thank you. As long as we understand multi-partner trust fund, there is a applier, not the payer. So we actually aim to make IMO for the applier, not the payer. So since it is multi-partner trust fund, so we believe that there are a lot of partners to be able to help this industry.
That's actually a very good answer.
Thank you. I like that too. In person. Life-saving.
Thank you for your outstanding speech. This is Team Lifesaver. I would just like to ask one simple question. The reason why Hong Kong Convention came into effect was because the environmental problems and all the safety problems of the workers. However, even with the Hong Kong Convention, there is in effect the rules are not being complied by the facilities, the shipping recycling facilities, and that's why I think you're suggesting more adding of clauses or appendix. However, I'm really skeptical about just adding clauses and adding appendix. By doing that, will there actually be an effect of complying with these rules, or will there be any disadvantage or penalties that will be given to the facilities that do not comply with this convention and the resolutions?
So basically, that's why we suggest applying for the fund. Just let me give you the background of this Hong Kong Convention more specifically. Actually, there has been a trial to enact this Hong Kong Convention from 2001. But the reason why it has not enacted yet was actually, as we mentioned before, even though 70% of ships are dismantled in South Asia, they cannot afford to install the dry dock, the facility that can be appropriate for implementation of HKC. So basically, to make this convention effective, the first thing they should have done is to facilitate and install some installation in some facilities in South Asia.
Thank you for your great answer.
Thank you. Marine catcher.
We are the team Marine Catchers, and first of all, thank you for your wonderful presentation. It was very informative and educational. So we were wondering if you have thought about the education methods since you added a new regulation on training. And there might be costs for developing the new educational system, and they also need more manpower for the instructors, especially since most ships are disassembled in developing countries like Bangladesh. Have you thought about this problem?
Yeah, definitely we've thought about the problem, and actually, so we actually tried to solve the problem with the fund. So everything is related to the money, right? So even though they have sufficient financial resources, they can do training, education program, and get enough, working environment. So that's what we thought.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. CPs.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your great presentation. Thank you so much. I just want to one simple question, which is that you have said that you want to raise funds from the multi-associations. And I'd like to know that you have the countries that you have mentioned that have a poor working conditions, that you want to spread the funds to them to improve the working conditions. But what I want to know is that some of the countries that you have mentioned, they are politically corrupted. So we cannot make sure that the funds can be delivered correctly to the improvement of the labor. So is there any kinds of way to make sure that the money can be used to improve the labor?
So that's why we select the multi-partner trust fund, because there is a program called Gateway. Actually, that is run by the UN Association website. So they reveal all the contents of the funds, and it is the most transparent fund system in the world. So that is why we select the multi-partner trust fund.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. One more question.
Thank you for the great presentation. We are Team Angry Spirit. I understand your proposal is to supplement the Hong Kong Convention. Is that correct? Yes, but the Hong Kong Convention is not yet into force as of now. So therefore, such regulations cannot be amended nor supplemented when it's not even effective yet. So I see kind of like a procedural error in that. And secondly, I have another question. I find it kind of ironic to support such countries operating ship recycling industry financially when their purpose is for their own benefits. So that was my comment, and what do you think about it?
a quick reply needed on that question.
So with actually the reason why we said that supplementing, the reason the education should be EmergenSea should be amended is to facilitate the affection of HKC. And the reason why we try to give fund to developing country, because to enact the Hong Kong Convention, the precondition is the working environment in South Asia should be ready. So that's why.
Thank you. Thank you, EmergenSea. This is the end of Q&A session on this particular presentation. Thank you.